Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free, impartial advice on all your debt.
This is UMAR for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Glad to have Dazn's Joe Markowski back on IFL TV. It's been a minute.
Has been weird year. You're well, all good. Enjoying the content. You've been a busy boy over the summer.
Yeah, I mean IFL have managed to keep busy. Of course, boxing's back in full flow without the fans. You must be very busy at the moment as well. Some massive announcement, of course, we'll talk about. You must be very busy. Yeah,
it's been a busy time. Obviously, weird year for all of us in sport and putting on a schedule of events that, you know, it's not always the easiest thing in boxing in the best of times, let alone at the moment. So, happy to say we've navigated it pretty well. We've had our fair share of challenges, obviously like everyone else, but going into the back end of the year, we're in a pretty good place and happy to be back out there talking about a fantastic schedule of fights, to be honest.
What was going on with Dazn? There were so many rumours, and how difficult was it as a content provider, streaming platform during this pandemic, Joe? Yeah,
look, it's, for starters, from an industry perspective, the implications of something like this for an industry like ours that relies on sporting events to happen, people to be engaged with those sporting events, people to have disposable income to spend on consuming those events is huge, and it came out of nowhere. Obviously, you can't predict something like this, and as a growth business like we are, it hit us, as hard as it hit everyone else. It was a really challenging period. We don't pay too much attention to rumours and whatever people are saying outside of our company. We knew what we had to do to get through it. I think we've used the time incredibly well in a number of ways. We've been blessed to be working with an understanding and creative set of partners. That includes our boxing promotional partners, and a load of hard work from all angles there has got us back into a position where the business is healthy. We're back in growth mode. We're putting on a schedule of events. We're launching new products, including our global platform. So we've come through it well. I can't say it's been the easiest year to be working in this industry or in this space, but all things considered, I think we've come through it well, and we're happy, as I say, to be back out there and speaking about what we want to be speaking about rather than anything else. So we're in a good place after a tough year, and looking forward to closing out the year in an aggressive way from a growth perspective.
You were due to launch globally and in the UK, but obviously the pandemic hit. Now that will be happening. So just talk me through your global launch, and also specifically how will it affect UK customers who want to subscribe to Dazn?
Yes, listen, we originally planned to be launching a global platform in May of this year. That obviously got kiboshed by COVID, but in effect, we're putting the same product we plan to launch out in May, just 6-7 months later in December. So on December the 1st, next week, we'll be launching the Dazn platform globally. That means making available the Dazn app and the Dazn content offer that we carry globally, available to 200 plus markets of the world. That includes the UK, it includes many major boxing markets. This is in addition to the 9 markets that we are operating in already. And we're putting out, to support that, a very strong boxing-focused schedule of content in the month of December. That obviously includes the major fights we've announced recently. So rather than selling those rights, selling those fights to other broadcasters, our friends in the broadcast community globally, as we have been for the last 2.5 years out of the US, we'll now be broadcasting those shows, those fights on our own platform, and making those available to fans at what we believe is a very, very reasonable price point of £1.99 in the UK a month, $1.99 in dollar markets, €1.99 in European markets. So we are focused on engaging with sports fans all over the world. We're very excited to be doing that, to give a large group of sports fans and boxing fans in particular, who've been crying out in some cases for a service like ours to come into their markets. We're excited to be giving them an opportunity to try out a service they've heard a lot about, seen a lot of branding and content about, and giving them a chance to try it for themselves. Starting December the 1st. So very excited about that, and looking forward to be, introducing ourselves to a much broader global audience from next week.
Well, it's such good value. Let's just confirm. On December the 1st, if you pay £1.99, you get Joshua Pulev, Golovkin's fight, Ryan Garcia, Luke Campbell, and Canelo Smith, all for that £1.99.
Correct. So the way to think about it is, if you are, outside of the UK, you're a boxing fan, you come in the week of AJ Pulev on fight night, let's say, the month thereafter for €1.99, the equivalent price point in your local market, in the space of your first month. So for that $1.99 price point, AJ Pulev, Triple G Cerameta, Canelo Smith, and then on the 2nd of January to kick off 2021, a year we all hope will be better than 2020 in a number of ways. Ryan Garcia in his biggest test yet against Luke Campbell. So huge value for money. It's something that we've been very, very focused on. We want to, and part of this, being candid for us, is about engaging with as many people as possible in the first sort of wave of our launch. The price point's obviously key to that. We wanted to make sure it was accessible. Lots of people across the world have had a very difficult year. We wanted to make sure that a price point for us wasn't a reason not to subscribe. So that's a very reasonable price point. It's huge value for money for boxing fans. And in my opinion, humbly, I don't think there's any reason for boxing fans globally not to give it a go and start consuming boxing content in a different way. So we're excited to be meeting a lot of them in the month of December and into January.
Let's start with Canelo Alvarez, who of course split with Golden Boy and split with Dazn, but is back with Dazn on a one-fight deal against Callum Smith. Just talk me through that situation and split with Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, look, it's a complex situation. I don't want to get into the details of it, but like I mentioned, the industry as a whole was rocked very, very hard by COVID. The economics and the business side of putting on major sporting events, whoever you are, the Premier League, international sports federations, boxing promoters, fighters themselves, your business operations, how you make money and trade in that space, was dramatically impacted by COVID. Fans leaving stadiums, that's a major contribution to the finances of an event. It's a major contribution to a sports league. The whole model was just dramatically rocked. And so, as you've seen across sport and across other industries, there are conversations, difficult conversations about how we react and how you evolve and move forward. Ultimately, in the case of the original Canelo Golden Boy agreement, that led to a change of the relationship with Canelo and Golden Boy and ourselves. That was everyone stepped away from that on good terms. It wasn't an acrimonious split. And we obviously at that point wished Canelo well in his future endeavours. I am delighted personally, we as a business are delighted personally that as he takes his next step into the next phase of his career, that we obviously have managed to agree terms on a one-fight deal for him to fight with Matchroom. I know Eddie is absolutely delighted, and Frank and the whole team at Matchroom, that they get an opportunity to work with the pound-for-pound king of boxing, one of the biggest commercial draws in the sport. We all know the strength of the Matchroom promotional machine. We know how confident Eddie will be, and that team will be stepping into their sort of audition working with Canelo. And I know for a fact that they'll be seeing it as an opportunity to prove themselves going forward to drive a longer term relationship with Canelo going into 2021 and beyond. They have that opportunity to prove themselves. What I think it proves is that us and Canelo have a solid working relationship. He's always enjoyed fighting on his own. Myself and our executive team have good relationships with him and his team, and we look forward to continuing that on December the 19th. Look, for all of us, it's about focusing on a standalone event as part of a fantastic end of year and start of 2021 schedule, and using it as one of the many sort of introductory shows to establish ourselves as an international sports broadcaster, a global sports broadcaster. So we're excited about it. Happy to be back in business with Canelo. Delighted to be continuing to work on major shows with Eddie and the rest of the team at Matchroom. And I'm very confident it's, as I say, one of many sort of assets we have going into the start of our global platform to establish a big audience and something we want to grow going forward. So all things considered, it's part of a very good end of a tough year for us.
I know it's a one-fight deal with Canelo, but if he were to beat Callum Smith, there's that Golovkin that trilogy with Golovkin if he is to come through on the 18th. If Callum Smith wins, then it's likely there's a rematch between Canelo and Callum Smith. So I'm sure Canelo will feature on the Dazn platform moving forward a lot as well.
Yeah, look, we'll see. I mean, we're not really thinking about that right now. I'm sure that's a question for Eddie primarily. Is he's got an opportunity, as I say, it's an audition to establish a longer term relationship with Canelo. I think Canelo fighting on Dazn on December the 19th is a recognition that he likes that. He likes doing that. He's got no issue with that. But yeah, we're focused on maximising the show, making sure the production quality, the marketing campaign, all of the things behind the scenes that we do in preparation for that event are done to the highest possible quality as they have done previously in the 3 fights we've had with him previously. So that's our focus. What will happen in 2021 and beyond with him is something I'm sure he'll sit down and think about after December the 19th. But I'm sure he's pretty focused on the very stern test he's got in Callum Smith, and not too worried about the longer term sort of commercial side of his business right now.
Happy to see Golovkin back in the ring and obviously on the Dazn platform.
Yeah, look, one of the nice guys in boxing. Always a pleasure doing business with him and his team. And look, he's got tremendous international appeal. You look at the sort of, as we started to do now, look more globally at where fighters have followings and where they're going to drive big audiences. His is broader than most, right? He's got a big following in Europe, obviously Eastern Europe, UK, US. He's a global star, and to have him back and as part of that sort of schedule in December is huge for us. Yeah, look, there's still a lot of sort of big fights out there for him. He wants to get through this. He's very focused on it. He sees it as historic sort of defence of his title, and he wants to get through it and then go on to bigger and better things in 2021. And we're hugely supportive of that. Yeah, delighted to have maintained through a tough year and a very good relationship with him, and put together a fight for him that allows him to do what he wants to do as part, as I say, as a globally interesting schedule of fights that will appeal to fans around the world. So yeah, fantastic to be back in business with Gennady for sure.
Well, yeah, Golovkin back on the 18th, Canelo back on the 19th, both Dazn. Let's talk about Anthony Joshua. So we know in the UK, of course, Sky Sports box office will show Joshua Pulev. What other territories in your global launch won't show Anthony Joshua? Is it just the UK that won't show Joshua?
Just UK and Ireland. So the Sky carried the domestic rights in the UK and Irish market. We carry the fight, the show everywhere else. So if you're outside the UK, the only place to watch AJ Pulev will be on Dazn. So yeah, that's great. We obviously have a great working relationship with AJ, with Freddie and the whole team. Matchroom do a tremendous job promoting that, along with Canelo and Gennady and probably a couple of others. AJ is right up there as the international superstar of the sport. So again, if you look at data points and social media comments, the interest in AJ from all corners of the world is huge. That's testament to the work that he and Matchroom have done over a number of years building up his brand. So for us as a global broadcaster, having that set of rights, that fight globally is going to be a major component of that launch campaign, that first month schedule. So yeah, great to be back in business with AJ, and yeah, looking forward to another, after a year out the ring, after the sort of crazy end to 2019. I think he's looking forward to getting back out there and stepping into a massive 2021 for him. We all know what's down the pipe in 2021 for him, so getting through this is going to be crucial to opening up those fights that he wants in 2021.
As last year showed, Joshua certainly can't overlook Kubrat Pulev, and he's got to handle business next month. But I will ask you about potentially next year. The whole world is demanding one fight, and that is between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. We know Tyson Fury has an exclusive in the States with ESPN. You believe you and ESPN can come together to put that fight on, Joe?
Yeah, look, we've from day one we've acknowledged boxing is unique, right? It's not the easiest sport to build schedules in. It requires fight by fight deal making and collaboration between various groups of people, managers, promoters, in often cases broadcasters as well. I think Eddie's on record as saying this a few times to you and your colleagues in the media, it's too big a fight to not happen. We're not going to let promotional or broadcast or politics get in the way of that. Definitely from our side, we've been very, very clear to the media, the public, and in this case, more importantly, to our friends in the industry, that we are going to be creative and collaborative and flexible in making those fights happen. I expect those fights to happen. I think it's too big a fight not to happen. There's too much public demand. The fighters want to do it, have the fights. I'd imagine there'll be a 2-fight deal for that, and there's many ways to skin a cat as you look to split those rights and make deals happen. So again, both guys have got, well, AJ definitely has. Let's see what Tyson Fury does, but he's got a fight to get through in December. I think once we get through that, there'll only be one thing on his mind from a fight scheduling perspective, and that's going to be making the Fury fight happen. So I imagine those conversations will start very quickly after December the 12th. Let's see. Eddie will, I'm sure, be knocking on various doors to drum up the various conversations he needs to have. But from our perspective, we'll be an active participant in those conversations for a number of reasons, namely being it's the biggest fight in world boxing. We're going to be a global boxing-focused broadcaster, and that means we want to have that content. So absolutely, yeah, we'll be creative and active in those conversations and very focused on making them happen from our perspective.
Very refreshing to hear. Let's stick with the heavyweights, and Deontay Wilder's made a lot of comments recently, including something about an offer that was made from Anthony Joshua's team to him. He kind of revealed that in one of his posts, and also publicly spoke about Dazn and said that they, I'm using his words, they fucked up with an offer and they apologised even to Team Wilder. Have you seen these comments from Deontay about Dazn recently?
We messed up. I've not read much of those comments. No, I know you were speaking about various things recently. That was a long time ago. A lot of water's passed under the bridge since we've been in conversation with Deontay Wilder. He's obviously had a couple of fights with Fury since then that probably changed the landscape from his perspective. People say things. I know what was the offers that were made. I know that our business was very focused at that time on making AJ Wilder happen. It didn't happen for a number of reasons. I'm sure everyone's who's involved in that process has got opinions on why it didn't happen and why it didn't get done. Nothing but respect for him and his team. We had what I thought was a healthy conversation. They chose to go in a different direction. That's been well publicised. Right now, from an AJ perspective, he's focused on Pulev. We're focused on marketing and broadcasting the Pulev fight. And let's be honest, if he gets through that, the focus is not going to be on Deontay Wilder next year. It's going to be on Tyson Fury and AJ. So from our perspective, we'd love to work with Deontay at some point. I'm sure we will. Now that we're going to be broadcasting everywhere, we'll be working with his promoters in the US, I'm sure, on conversations about his fights being carried internationally or various other ways that we could be working together. But from a top-level heavyweight AJ perspective, the focus has got to be on getting through Pulev and then making the Fury fights happen. Let's see what happens down the line with Fury and Wilder and White and whoever else. But from our perspective, we're focused on making the AJ Fury fights happen. That's at the top level of the heavyweight division. That's what we want to happen, and that's what I think the public want to happen globally, right? So not going to get into any comments on Deontay Wilder right now. It's not our focus.
Okay, well, yeah, that's this year with Joshua, Golovkin and Canelo, and then it's not a bad start to January in 2021 with a fantastic fight between Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell. Yeah,
look, I was checking earlier, actually, Ryan Garcia is now into the 7 million Instagram followers, so the opportunity for us to market that fight and to grow a huge audience around that fight globally is huge. Look, Garcia, the criticism one could make of Ryan Garcia now is he's sort of like an Instagram model. Is he a real boxer? Is he the real deal? I know for a fact he's very, very focused on proving that he is. He's been in a few, gradually bigger and bigger tests from a fighting perspective in his last few outings. But this is, I think, without doubt, the biggest test he's had to date. Campbell, obviously, a grizzled vet in comparison to Garcia, who's obviously far younger and far less experienced. But if he can make a big statement against Luke Campbell on the 2nd of January, the fights that open up in that division are absolutely huge. It's probably the hottest division in boxing right now. There's obviously Devin Haney, which in the Matchroom stable looks like a relatively easy fight to us to make if he gets through Campbell at the start of the year. Later in 2021, all sides of that conversation are very, very focused on it. We were talking about it internally today, actually, with Eddie. So look, let's see how he does. I know that Luke Campbell is very keen to spoil the party. Great fight as a result. Global appeal, big fight for us domestically in the US, big fight in the UK. One of the many reasons why the UK will be one of the more interesting markets for us as we step into the global platform. So we're excited about it. Great start to the year, and I think just an early indicator of the fights we want to try and make in 2021. After all of the challenges making fights this year, what is abundantly clear, speaking to all of the promoters, is gone are the days of fights that should happen not happening for months on end or years on end. There's a complete desire from the promotional side anyway that I can see to bring big fights to broadcasters to approve when they should happen. And Garcia, Campbell, hopefully then Garcia, Haney, if he gets through, Campbell will be huge for that division. So from our perspective, we're very excited about what the future potentially holds for Ryan Garcia in the US and internationally. But let's see if Luke Campbell's going to sort of spoil the party for Ryan at the start of the year. We'll see. Okay, Joe. Well, listen, congratulations on the global launch. We look forward over here in the UK to December 1st, where, of course, people can get the app. And then, as we've just outlined, a really strong schedule in December and a bright start in January with Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell. So, thanks all to IFL TV. And I'm sure we're going to have another catch-up soon. All right, Joe? We will. Thanks, UMAR. Appreciate it. Speak to you all soon. Top man. Take care. Bye.
Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free, impartial advice on all your debt.